I'm Nick Westergaard, and this is On Brand, helping you tell your story. My guest this week is Corin Mills.
And that's kind of at MOO, that's our job to kind of show the potential of not just business cards, but everything. Like you say at an event, like when you first meet someone, you just add people to your phone and then you never really think of it again. But having that tangible piece just really hits home, and making sure that less is more as well, and making sure if you are going to hand something, then it actually feels right, it feels quality, there's a bit of craft in there, there's a bit of thought in there, there's a creative idea behind there, not just a name and a number. Maybe there's something that will make that person smile.
Corin Mills is the brand marketing and e-commerce director at MOO, specializing in data-driven marketing strategies that revitalize brand experience and foster meaningful organizational change. With over 15 years of extensive brand management experience driving business transformation across multiple sectors and international markets, his passion for impactful branding drives MOO's success in bridging the gap between quality design and human connection. My interview with Corin Mills is coming right up. But first, quick question. How confident are you that your content actually connects in every market? If you're guessing, it might be time to check out Phrase. Phrase is the industry-leading AI localization platform that helps you deliver content in multiple languages without losing your tone, your message, or your mind. It automates the manual work, slashes review time, and gives you real data on what's working where. Brands like Uber and Zendesk trust Phrase to scale their content across the globe and get it right every time. If you're serious about reaching more people and driving better results internationally, head over to phrase.com/MPN and take a look. That's phrase.com/MPN.
Are you tired of juggling multiple software tools to manage your agency? Say hello to Deltek Workbook, the ultimate solution for marketing and communication agencies. With Workbook, you can streamline your projects, resources, and finances all in one place. Imagine real-time dashboards and reports giving you full visibility into your projects, people, and financials. Plan your team's capacity weeks in advance to avoid bottlenecks while staying on budget to maximize project margins. Plus, Workbook works perfectly for both agencies and in-house marketing teams looking to boost efficiency and profitability. And here's the best part. At PCI, we're a certified Deltek partner and reseller offering expert implementation, integrations, and ongoing support to ensure your success. Want to see how Deltek Workbook can transform your operations? For a free consultation, visit pci.us/podcast today. That's pci.us/podcast.
Corin Mills, welcome to On Brand.
Hey, Nick, great to be on.
I am excited to chat with you. So you, as mentioned in your bio, have really been across industries, Currys, Tesco, Google. Is there a common denominator, a through line that you've identified with brand building across your varied experience?
Yeah, I think part of it is I've kind of had a slightly different career to a lot of people who are kind of look after marketing or branding. That I started in retail design, that kind of came from a background in product design, and then moved into branding. And I think the common thread that's really helped me when I've either been a client or an agency helping a client, say like Google, is that it's just understanding the benefit brand can bring to outside of marketing. And I think my experience of working outside of marketing initially has really helped me bring impact to the brands that I've worked with, which has been great. And it's just kind of at the heart of it is understanding that all businesses have a similar goal ultimately, like revenue growth and those sorts of things. But when you look deep down into it, each area of the business have different goals, and it's working out what a brand really means to them has been key. So yeah, that's the thread that links it together, is kind of what brand can do to each part of the business. And that's the bit that really interests me and why I've been in kind of this sector for a few years.
So you're now at MOO, and I was excited to chat with you because I remember the first time I was handed a business card from MOO, produced by MOO, and I had to know what it was, what the story was, because it was different, beautiful design, quality paper and printing. And it's interesting because I feel like we're at this point where, there's almost so much online that these small tactile experiences that we have with one another, where we may be passing someone something like a card, is really a brand opportunity. So, say a bit about working at kind of the front lines of human connection at a time when we are, well, more disconnected than ever.
Yeah, I think it's what really interested me about MOO was at the heart of it is a philosophy of great design for everyone, but beneath that was this real belief that real connections count. And I think when you look at the world, it can seem like digital is the be all and end all. And yeah, it does feel more disconnected. And I think what that actually does, though, is make people realize when connections actually happen, how important they are. And it's finding those moments has been really key. It's actually quite a quite hard message to articulate because you can sound a bit like a Luddite, like, oh no, 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 remember the good old days. But you know, it's that's not what it's about. It's just about acknowledging that real connection. Just because you can send 1,000, well, 1,000,000 emails to your customers doesn't mean you should, because it won't necessarily have the connection that you're looking for. And actually, like you say at an event, like when you first meet someone, just kind of being added, we've all done it at events, you just add people to your phone and then you never really think of it again. But having that tangible piece just really hits home, and making sure that less is more as well, and making sure if you are going to hand someone something, then it actually feels right, it feels quality, there's a bit of craft in there, there's a bit of thought in there, there's a creative idea behind there, not just a name and a number. Maybe there's something that will make that person smile and remember you for a different reason. And that's kind of at MOO, that's our job, to kind of show the potential of not just business cards, but everything from postcards.
So that's such a great example too, and I love the idea that if you have a card from someone that makes you smile, because I always feel like, we are overwhelmed digitally, but we're also just overwhelmed in general. I've crowded all of the papers and things off screen for the interview here. But we all get handed a lot of stuff. And just like our inboxes are crowded, we come back from an event like that, and it's maybe a stack of business cards, and several of them get filed away in the trash. But others maybe that do stand out, that do mean something, that do make someone smile. We're cutting through the clutter. We're needing to cut through the clutter in those in-person interactions as well. We are. I don't want to accidentally sneak to the end of the podcast, but you talking about, when someone makes you smile through a business card. The other aspect of MOO that I think makes this brand memorable is that MOO is a brand that makes me smile. And it happens in a lot of ways, and a lot of them that we've been talking about, but even the name. I wonder if you'd talk about uh, building the brand, and also continuing to communicate that as we move forward.
Yeah, I've been here coming up to 3 years, but it's been a brand that's kind of 15 years old, and it's kind of built. And I think the big learning that I see that I get from MOO actually, and I kind of started to spot a bit previously in the career, was that it's definitely been evolution over time. And I think that the interesting thing is that MOO did stuff in the world of print and B2B that kind of took a commoditized area and brought personality in the brand, and that really helped them differentiate. But those moments came from not, right, we're going to do a great, connected TV advert. Well, the connected TV maybe didn't exist 15 years ago, but, the typical advertising forms. It came from going, hang on a minute, the sticker that we put on the packaging on the outside, why don't we just write yay on that? Because that's what a customer might say. And just someone actually said it when they got the product, yay, and they were like, oh, we should put that on the sticker. That's like the kind of the myth that goes around why we've got yay on the stickers that go out. But if it was just people caring about just going that little bit of extra distance, really, really means a lot on these unexpected touch points. And I think that's really like, it can be tiring, right? It's like everything needs to be thought about, but it's actually spotting the opportunities in the most unlikely places has been a big learning. The other one is actually did a rebrand about it a year and a half ago. And I'm kind of like a big advocate of not rebranding, which is a bit weird if you look at my history, because I've done that a lot. But the point is more, there needs to be a reason for you to change your name. There needs to be a reason to rebrand. It can't be for an ego-led piece. And what's been really interesting is that the brand needed a bit of tightening and sharpening for the digital world and the world of marketing, but also just to get back to kind of standing out a little. But that did not mean, well, we need to change the name, we need to change the logo. All of that was left alone. It was actually just tightening up the rules and giving more tools to the teams to do an even better job rather than necessarily wholesale change. And I think that's a big thing why Moo's brand has stayed those, because it stayed consistently good and not just have these jumping around. And you see it. I've got friends in the business who love to jump around brands, and they go there and they say everything's rubbish so they can rebrand. And it's like, that's not what the businesses need. You know, you should only rebrand if there's a strategic reason to.
Well, I'm a big fan of words and word choice. And you just talked about refining and sharpening. And I think that that's a much better way to think, for the very reason that you just noted, because a lot of time we think we need to just take everything down to the studs and start again. When in actuality, we might have a brand that is making people smile, that people have a connection to, but needs to be, well, like you said, refined and tightened. So as you talk about refining and tightening, what and if someone's listening thinking, you know what, that's what we need, instead of those people that are saying, we need to change everything, how would you suggest someone start a brand refine and tighten?
I think before you know what the scale of the ambition should be, or even what you should be looking at, it's find the problems, find the challenges and the opportunities, and start there. Is it that you're an old school monolithic brand that's trying to survive in a whole different category where, the players are doing things differently? Is it just that you're not getting standout and attention in maybe your marketing, or is it actually other areas of your business? Like, your brand system isn't fit for purpose across digital platforms like your e-commerce site, and you're disjointed and everything looks different. Like, I think before you kind of jump to the scale and ambition of the project, really, if you get down those problems, it comes really, really clear what you need to refine, what you need to change, and the scale at which you need to do it. I think, like, particularly in bigger businesses as well, like a brand team can only do so much. You need the business to embrace it. And the only way you're going to get the people across the business to embrace it is if they can see the benefits to them. And actually, if you start there and you refine what will benefit them, and that's not necessarily do what they say, because there'll be a lot of subjective opinions. But as soon as you start thinking that way, you'll quickly spot how you can refine and how you can go. You can do a little that means a lot. I think there's the basics of marketing, of brand assets consistently used, the basics of strategy of having clarity and consistency. They're your starting points. But finding the problems, that's going to really direct you as to what you should be really changing.
On Brand, we'll be right back after this.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Now, back to the show. So we've talked about MOO's kind of signature product and business cards. I very much believe are it's kind of a secret weapon. I think all of these things that we're so quick to move past, like sending someone a piece of mail is something that, because it's not done as much anymore, can have a big impact. Are there other secret weapons that have been successful in marketing the Moo brand?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two big areas that we're really spotting being successful for other kind of customers and those sorts of things. One is that kind of quality inbox kind of e-commerce tangible pieces that go along. And I think that's like a great example of where bad design has kind of destroyed categories like direct mail and inserts, because it just becomes the sale message, and then the design just becomes this. But actually, we're seeing, like, one of our customers, Rise, is kind of coffee brand, mushroom coffee brand that's there. They've realized that actually their inbox material on subscription services is so important. And so printed postcards, die cut bookmarks, all these different pieces, they are seeing so much better performance when they start talking to the customer, thinking both digitally and this physical real product, and joining those two channels together, using the data for both of those channels so they can customize some of the inbox stuff. Like, we're seeing that a lot. So I'd say e-commerce, kind of that need to kind of connect to the customer when they're not coming into a store, when they're not talking to people on the phone, that's a big area that's unexpectedly growing for customers, and they're like, oh wow, no, the more we do this, the better. And I said there's two things. The second thing actually links to what you were saying earlier, Nick, which is like kind of volume of giveaway merch is just like so much swag is just given away. And it's the stuff that we've all got, that drawer of doom in your kitchen or whatever, that's just full of stuff that you put it in, or you give it to your children, or it goes in the bin. We are really like saying to people, like, less is not more. Like, just buy one good quality piece of merch and give that to your employees. Think seasonally what they're going to use. Think differently. And I think that's been a big one as well, which is just less is more. I think volume has been a really weird thing that people have got fascinated with. The more is better, and we're trying to shift people away from that. It's good for the planet, but it's good for your brand if you give someone something that they're going to keep. It sounds obvious, but people forget that.
Well, I think it's easy too, because again, that overwhelm that we focus on so much digitally also has a real world component of all of, like you said, the crap that we come home with. And, if you're lucky, and it's funny because I have a promotional pen here that I'd gotten from someone. Most of those are crap. This is a really nice pen, and it made the cut. But you're like, you want your potential customer to keep that on their desk near them. A step down, like you said, is stuff you're giving to your kids, and then beyond that is what we're throwing away. So yeah, better for the planet, but also it's real world clutter, like we're grappling with digitally.
Yeah, and I think in a world where people invest millions in brand building, your lowest common denominators can do damage, and
Yeah.
that is definitely one of them. Digital advertising, when it's done badly, can be. When it's done well, it can be a brilliant tool. But you can see the volume of digital advertising can cause people just to sign off just anything. And, you've really got to be careful, and less is more. But yeah, that'll be obvious.
Yeah. So keeping with the less is more theme, I'm a big fan of scrappy marketing. And if you had a startup coming to you with a piece of brand building advice, what's the first thing you'd tell them?
I would say the first thing I would tell them is, if they're a startup, like, the stuff you're going to want to debate and really get stuck into is probably the stuff that won't have the impact you think. Like, I've seen so much discussion on naming of propositions, naming of even businesses, and those sorts of things, the logo design itself and that sort of thing. And it's actually like a brand is much more than that. And that'd be like number one, is like just really think about where you spend your time thinking, and the creative idea that this brand is designed to showcase is where you should be thinking much, much more. And the brand is the foundation, and really like you can have the most beautiful brand system, but with the right creative idea, it's not going to really resonate with people, or without the right application in other areas of the business. And I think the second one is that it's the ability to know what can wait, what you can just get out there and do and learn from, versus the stuff that if you don't get right first time, it's going to be a costly mistake down the line. That decision-making process is so key to success. And I think you were alluding to it. What the bad version of when people say brand is when they come in and they restrict, they dampen, they stop the creative process. They stop it's like they talk to the social team. It's like, well, no, that's not right. It's like, how do you know that's not right? Like, these people live and breathe social channels. They know what's right, not you. And it's, so I think it's when brand restricts, it's bad. So I think the two areas I talk about were those two.
As we talk about costly decisions, you lead with data in your work a lot. I wondered if you could talk about leading with data in your marketing decisions while not getting lost in it, because there's a lot of clutter there too.
Yeah, I think I was kind of like, most of my teaching in brand came from like agencies that were kind of not anti-customer testing, but realists in it, in that like, if you customer test everything, you will never produce anything that is going to stand out. That's just full of there. I think and I think data is not too dissimilar when it, of those. Just if you only use data, if you only use customer testing for every stage of the creative process and delivery, you will end up failing, because you will either won't get anywhere because you'll be full of contradictions, or you will not be looking at the other side. So I think being that ability to use the data in a smart, pragmatic way, and not believing it's the be all and end all, and trusting your gut, right? You pay people to do that, and let them kind of take some risks and see what happens, is really, really important, particularly when you are looking at wholesale change. Customers don't know what they necessarily want. They're a great sounding board, and actually sometimes a negative reaction can be a big opportunity in customer side of things. Less so in the data side. I think that's where you need to watch. When there's got negative stuff going on, you really need to be careful. But then on the data side of thing, I think the watch out, the benefit for me is when you do truly run A/B testing, when you do truly have an econometrics model, it's incredibly rewarding, but it allows the permission and trust in the wider in the business for you to do more and more and more. And so using that is such a smart thing. The watch out is false accuracy. That's the big one that everyone falls for. It's where they're really like, they think they're like, last click is the kind of classic example of that, like last click directing every decision you make in marketing. And it's like, but that's false accuracy. It's not a true picture of what's really going on. So let's not, like, you wouldn't, it's so weird. I find, like, if someone said to you, like, is the only reason you went to that shop and brought that thing because you saw it in SEM, and they'll be like, well, no. It's like, but then they go to work and they're like, no, SEM, invest in that, please. And you're like, hang on, that's not how anyone thinks. And vice versa. Is the only reason you brought that because you saw an amazing TV advert? No, like, it's because I've got a great price, I've got a great product, it's because of so let's just get out of your own area, think wider, and think about customers. So yeah, anyway, I diverged a bit from data. That was just going on to a rant about naivety, but yeah, false accuracy is a big thing to watch out as well.
Yeah, the myth of the last impression is alive and well out there. So as we've talked through a lot of this, our conversation, you've made me smile with several of your points, and it's now time for me, Corin, to ask you for a brand that has made you smile recently.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I wanted to pick a US example as well, because I live in the UK, but the MOO is a big US brand, so I've got teams in the US. I was thinking about the recent GoDaddy campaign, and I think it made me smile because there was a bit of a reveal to it, and maybe that's because I'm in brand and marketing, but Walter Goggins was in the campaign.
Yes.
But before that, kind of when I've kind of liked him in loads of stuff. So I think there's a bit of a fit there in terms of he's someone I've kind of seen in TV I like. But I think when he was at the height of his recent fame, he obviously came out with Walter Goggins goggles and his website, and it became this little thing that was shared, and everyone was like, "Have you seen this? This is crazy." And there was no sign that it was a marketing campaign, and I don't even know whether it was. It was just him doing something that kind of fit with his personality, and it was a bit crazy. But then to see GoDaddy, then him in the advert saying, "This is how I built my site," it put a smile on my face. And I thought that's either really, really responsive, like advertising, or a very good plan in a world of influencers to use him they pick the right time when he's just becoming there. And I don't know, it put a smile on my face because it was nice to be a bit surprised and it didn't feel too corporately planned. But yeah, that was the one that stood out recently.
No, that's a great example. And again, with both interesting options on backstories there. Corin, where can folks go to learn more about who you are and what you do?
Oh, so it's like the classic kind of like, so me personally, I'm not on tons of stuff actually. I'm quite picky, so it's been really nice to chat with you, Nick. But so yeah, there's a few things out there. But from my point of view, what I work towards, MOO.com is the best example of not what I do, but what loads of people do at MOO. But that kind of, the reason why I work there is that great design for everyone. So it's a nice summary of what I enjoy doing. And then obviously I'm on LinkedIn and all the usual stuff. But yeah, if you want to see the sort of stuff we're doing at the moment, it's all at MOO.com.
Awesome. Well, we will link up to that in our show notes, which folks can always find at onbrandpodcast.com. Corin Mills, thanks for being on brand with us.
Thanks, Nick. It's been brilliant to be on. Good to see you.
On Brand is part of the Marketing Podcast Network. If you like what you're hearing, if we've made you smile, you can always listen free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite platform may be. And please take a moment and rate and review the podcast to help others find the show. Until next week, I'm Nick Westergaard, and I'll see you on the internet.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Hennika Watkins-Porter hosts The Entrepreneurial You, empowering entrepreneurs with insights on leadership, business, and success. Hennika, tell listeners what to expect from your show.
So we provide innovative business strategies and practical solutions to common entrepreneurial challenges.
And where can people subscribe?
Find us at hennikawatkinsporter.com, as well as the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.